What's up, guys? Apostate Chess here for another video. This is my first non-chess playing video so far. I hope to do a lot of these. I'm sitting out on my back porch right now. You can see my beautiful bonsais back there. You can see my beloved koi swimming around in this koi pond here. My favorite spot to sit and contemplate. So today, I'm going to begin a series of videos explaining why I'm an apostate. I'm an atheist. That means I don't believe in God. And if you didn't know, it means atheism is basically rejecting the claims that there is a God. So I was raised as a Christian. Was probably one for a good 20 years of my life. And when I was young, we went to the crazy churches. And when I say the crazy churches, I mean the ones rolling around in the floor, speaking in tongues, cursing out demons. I've seen all that, seen it all. At one point in my childhood, my parents had us burn our Ninja Turtles because the church led them to believe that Ninja Turtles were actually demons who worship crystals. Obviously, that's pretty crazy, unless you're crazy and don't think it's crazy, but it's still crazy. But anyway, today I'm going to begin explaining exactly why. And the first case that I want to make, which I think is the clearest, the easiest to make, and the most important, is the pillar of all Christianity, and that is that Jesus was a Messiah and a prophet. But today, I think I can prove conclusively with this that Jesus was in fact not a prophet. He was a false prophet because he makes false prophecy. This is the Bible. All we got to do is read it. So, before you start saying I'm cherry picking or taking anything out or changing context, what I'm going to do is we'll just read it and we'll see what you think it clearly states, because it's pretty clear. Coincidentally, authors write books, so when people read it, they can understand it. I mean, it's crazy, ain't it? It's wild. So I'm going to read from two books. I'm going to read 3 chapters from Matthew, and I'm going to read one small part of Deuteronomy. And the reason I want to read Deuteronomy first is because I think it's important in this case I'm about to make that Jesus is a false prophet. Because coincidentally, God himself tells us exactly what a false prophet is and how you can know if they're a false prophet. So let's just read that real quick. I'm going to start in Deuteronomy 18, verse 18. And it says, I will raise up for them a prophet like you from among their brothers, and I will put my words in his mouth, and he shall speak to them all that I command him. And whoever will not listen to my words that he shall speak in my name, I myself will require it of him. But the prophet who presumes to speak a word in my name that I have not commanded to him, to speak, who speaks in the name of other gods, that same prophet shall be unalived. And I say unalive because that's usually uh, a YouTube friendly version. Let me put it that way. So I'm going to try to supplement that where needed here, but you'll still know what I mean. Verse 21. And if you say in your heart, how may we know the word that the Lord has not spoken? When a prophet speaks in the name of the Lord, if the word does not come to pass or come true, that is the word that the Lord has not spoken. The prophet has spoken it presumptuously. You need not be afraid of him. So this is pretty clear. God's basically saying how to test for a prophet is if they say some shit's going to happen and shit don't happen, then he's not a prophet, and he shall be unalived is the penalty for these false prophecies. Now, with that said, let's take a look in Matthew and let's see if Jesus makes prophecies that doesn't come true. Now, I'm going to skip around. I'm going to go kind of in reverse. Let me pull it up on my phone here. This is also from the ESV, of course. All right, and I'm going to read pretty much all of Matthew 24 here. And the reason I'm going to start with this is because um, it's going to be real important what Jesus means when he says uh, what he means by the coming of the Son of Man. So I don't need to explain what it is. We're about to just read what it is. And you can tell me if you think this is being misinterpreted, or to me, it's quite clear, actually. But anyway, sorry again. Here comes my seventh grade education, and I can't read good skills. But bear with me in my bumblings. So, Matthew 24. Let's find out what the coming of the Son of Man is and when Jesus says that it's going to happen. Because this is a prophecy Jesus has given, and if it don't come true, according to Deuteronomy, according to God, then he's a false prophet because he's made a false prophecy. Now, Jesus foretells destruction of the temple. Matthew 24, verse 1. Jesus left the temple and was going away when his disciples came to point out to him the buildings of the temple. But he answered them, "You see all of these, do you not? Truly I say to you, there will not be one, there will not be left one stone upon another that will not be thrown down." So that's pretty clear, right? Jesus saying that not a single stone is going to be left standing of the temple. Now, here's a bit more of the important part. Signs of the end of the age. Words are important here. Context is important here. Obviously, context, context, context. So let's see what the context is. The signs of the end of the age. As he sat on the Mount of Olives, the disciples came to him privately, saying, "Tell us, when will these things be, and what will be the sign of your coming and the end of the age?" And Jesus answered them, "See that no one leads you astray, for many will come in my name, saying, 'I am the Christ,' and they will lead many astray. And you will hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that you are not alarmed, for this must take place, but the end is not yet. For nation will rise against nation, and kingdom against kingdom, and there will be families and earthquakes in various places. All these are but the beginning of the birth pains." So that first little paragraph, uh, Jesus is basically saying nations are going to rise against nations, kingdom against kingdom. There's going to be famines. There's going to be earthquakes. And these are the beginning of the end, but not quite the end yet, right? All right. Verse 9. "They will deliver you up to tribulation and put you to death, and you will be hated by all nations for my name's sake. And then many will fall away and betray one another and hate one another. And many false prophets will come arise and lead many astray. And because lawlessness will be increased, the love of many will grow cold. But the one who endures to the end will be saved. And the gospel of the kingdom will be proclaimed throughout the whole world as a testimony to all nations. And then the end will come." The end will come. That's a very, very important part of that. So clearly, he's saying, if you proclaim in my name, there's going to be people that's going to hate you. They're going to kill you. But the one who endures, you're going to be saved. And that very last sentence is the most important. That, and then the end will come. So let's move on. The abomination of desolation. So when you see the abomination of desolation spoken of by the prophet Daniel, standing in the holy place, let the reader understand. They wrote this so you can understand. You're reading it to understand. Then let those who are in Judea flee to the mountains. Let the one who is on the housetop not go down to take what is his in his house. And let the one who is in the field not turn back to take his cloak. And alas, for women who are pregnant, and for those who are nursing infants in those days, pray that your flight may not be in the winter or on the Sabbath. For then there will be great tribulation, such as not been from the beginning of the world until now. No, and never will be. And if those days had not been cut short, no human being would be saved. But for the sake of the elect, those days will be cut short. Then if anyone says to you, look, there is the Christ, or there he is, do not believe it. For false Christs, false prophets will arise and perform great signs and wonders, so as to lead people astray, if possible, even the elect. See, I have told you beforehand. So if they say to you, look, he is in the wilderness, do not go out. If they say, look, he is in the inner rooms, do not believe it. For as the lightning comes from the east and shines as far as the west, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. Wherever the corpse is, there the vultures will gather. So this is beginning to explain things. We're coming toward the end here. This is all the things that they're going to see during the coming of the Son of Man. That's what's important. This is what he's referring to. And he's clearly already referring to the end because he says, then the end will come after these signs, correct? The end means the end, by the way. Just in case that's hard for some people to understand. I ain't going to say, point nobody out or anything. But the end means the end. The coming of the Son of Man. Verse 29. Immediately after the tribulation of those days, the sun will be darkened, and the moon will not give its light, and the stars will fall from heaven, and the powers of the heavens will be shaken. And then will appear in heaven the sign of the Son of Man. And then all the tribes of the earth will mourn, and they will see the Son of Man coming on the clouds of heaven with power and great glory. And he will send out his angels with a loud trumpet call, and they will gather his elect from the four winds, from one end of heaven to the other. From the fig tree, learn this lesson. As soon as its branch becomes tender and puts out its leaves, you know that summer is near. So also, when you see all these things, you will know that he is near at the very gates. Truly, I say to you, this generation will not pass away. I'm sorry. Oh, no, I'm not. It says, truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things take place. Heaven and earth will pass away, but my words will not pass away. So clearly, Jesus is saying here that the disciples who he's talking to is the generation he lives in. He says, truly I say to you, this generation will not pass away until all these things have taken place. Heaven and earth will pass away. So it's pretty clear Jesus is saying this generation won't pass away until the end happens, or before the end happens. That means that the people living in that generation, some of them won't die before the end comes. So this was 2,000 years ago. In my opinion, this is about all you need right here. So Jesus has clearly said that there's people in this generation that's not going to pass away until the end happens. But they all passed away, and it's been 2,000 years, and the end hasn't happened. So the other parts of Matthew that I'm going to read here in a minute are just going to strengthen my case for this, in case, you get the argument of, well, a generation actually means 10,000 years in the Bible. Okay. We're going to cover that too, don't worry. No one knows that day and hour, but concerning that day and hour, no one knows, not even the angels of heaven, nor the Son, but the Father only. For as were the days of Noah, so will be the coming of the Son of Man. For in those days before the flood, they were eating and drinking, marrying and giving in marriage, until the day when Noah entered the ark, and they were unaware the flood came and swept them all away. So will be the coming of the Son of Man. Then two men will be in the field, one will be taken and one left. Two women will be grinding at the mill, one will be taken and one left. Therefore stay awake, for you do not know the day the Lord is coming. But know this, that if the master of the house had known in what part of the night the thief was coming, he would have stayed awake and would not have let his house be broken into. Therefore, you must also be ready, for the Son of Man is coming at an hour you do not expect. So, what Jesus is saying here is the day and the hour are not known. What he does know is that it will happen soon, and by soon, he clearly means a generation or so. Who then is the faithful and wise servant, whom his master has set over his household, to give them their food at the proper time? Blessed is that servant whom his master will find so doing when he comes. Truly I say to you, he will set them over all his possessions. But if that wicked servant says to himself, my master is delayed, and begins to beat his fellow servants, and eats and drinks with drunkards, the master of that servant will come on a day when he does not expect him, and at 1 hour he does not know, and will cut him in pieces and put him with the hypocrites. In that place there will be weeping and gnashing of teeth. I don't even think I got to explain that one too much. It's basically saying if you ain't ready, you're going to hell, is what he said, in case that's not clear. So, next up, we have Matthew chapter 16. And here, I'm going to show again that Jesus clearly says that the end is coming soon. And when he says the end, he means the end because he says the coming of the Son of Man is the end. And he gives you all these signs and stuff. So far we're in there. Let me see what I'm supposed to read here. All right, so I guess I'm going to read all of Matthew 16 too. It's not super long. The Pharisees and the Sadducees demand signs. And the Pharisees and Sadducees came, and to test him, they asked him to show them a sign from heaven. And he answered them, when it is evening, you say, it will be fair weather, for the sky is red. And in the morning, it will be stormy today, for the sky is red and threatening. You know how to interpret the appearance of the sky, but you cannot interpret the signs of the times. An evil, adulterous generation seeks for a sign, but no sign will be given to it except the sign of Jonah. So he left them and departed. So Jesus basically told them, "Yeah, you wouldn't know it if I showed it to you. So see you later." And he walked off. I don't know why he couldn't have just, maybe explained it like he did in Matthew 24. I could have, whatever. Anyway, the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. When the disciples reached the other side, they had forgotten to bring any bread. Jesus said to them, watch and beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. And they began discussing it among themselves, saying, we brought no bread. But Jesus, aware of this, said, O ye of little faith, why are you discussing among yourselves the fact that you have no bread? Do you not yet perceive? He said, do you not remember the 5 loaves for the 5,000s and how many baskets you gathered? Or the 7 loaves for the 4,000 and how many baskets you gathered? How is it that you fail to understand that I did not speak about the bread? Beware of the leaven of the Pharisees and Sadducees, for they understood that he did not tell them to beware of the leavened bread, but the teaching of the Pharisees and the Sadducees. Peter confesses Jesus as the Christ. Now, when Jesus came into the district of Caesarea Philippi, he asked his disciples, who do people say that the Son of Man is? And they said, some say John the Baptist, others say Elijah, and others Jeremiah, or one of the prophets. He said to them, but who do you say I am? Simon Peter replied, you are the Christ, the Son of the living God. And Jesus answered him, blessed are you, Simon Bar-Jonah, for flesh and blood has not revealed this to you, but my Father who is in heaven. And I tell you, you are Peter, and on this rock I will build my church, and the gates of hell shall not prevail against it. I will give you the keys of the kingdom of heaven, and whatever you bind on earth shall be bound in heaven, and whatever you loose on earth shall be loosed in heaven. Then he strictly charged the principals to tell no one that he was the Christ. So we're about to get to the part where Jesus sends out the disciples to tell everybody this message. But he don't want them to tell them that he's the Christ. But you can make a whole nother video just on some of these inner verses here. Jesus foretells his death and resurrection. From that time, Jesus began to show his disciples that he must go to Jerusalem and suffer many things from the elders and chief priests and scribes and be killed. On the third day, be raised. And Peter took him aside and began to rebuke him, saying, Far be it from you, Lord, this shall never happen to you. But he turned and said to Peter, Get behind me, Satan. You are a hindrance to me, for you are not setting your mind on the things of God, but on the things of man. So this is really strange on its own. So here he's telling Peter, God revealed these things to him. God wants him to know these things. He's giving him the keys of heaven. And then all of a sudden he's calling Peter Satan. So you can make a whole nother video on this part too. But I think the reason that Peter was shocked by Jesus telling him that he was going to die was because it's not in the Old Testament. There is no such thing as a dying Messiah. No prophet in the Old Testament said a Messiah is going to come and die for your sins. So I'm guessing Peter was shocked because Peter said, well, you're not supposed to die, right? Anyway, let's move on a little more. Take up your crosses and follow Jesus. This is the important part because this is going to make my case stronger before of when God said the coming of the Son of Man is going to happen. So take up your cross and follow Jesus. Then Jesus told the disciples, if anyone would come after me, let him deny himself and take up his cross and follow me. For whoever would save his life will lose it, but for whoever loses his life for my sake will find it. For what will it profit a man if he gains the whole world and forfeits his soul? Or what shall a man give in return for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come with his angels in the glory of his Father, and then he will repay each person according to what he has done. This is clearly talking about the judgment, the coming of the Son of Man. He's saying, I'm going to come and I'm going to judge everyone. And that only happens on the day of judgment, correct? Truly, I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. Clearly, Jesus is telling them again in Matthew 16 that some of them will still be alive when the judgment, the coming of the Son of Man happens. Truly, I say to you, there are some standing here who will not taste death until they see the coming of the Son of Man. He is talking to the disciples. He is telling them, some of y'all are still going to be alive when this happens. Clearly, the end, the day of judgment, did not come. They're all dead. It's been 2,000 years. So, last one. We're going to go to Matthew 10. Oops. Matthew 10. And I saved this one for last because as clear as I feel like the other ones were, I think this one's undeniably the clearest. I don't think I got to read all this one. Let me see. Okay. Yeah, I'm just going to start at verse 5 in Matthew 10. And I think this one is the clearest demonstration that Jesus committed false prophecy, made false prophecies. Anyway, Jesus sends out the 12 apostles. These 12 Jesus sent out, instructing them, go nowhere among the Gentiles and enter no town of the Samaritans. Oh, Samaritans, sorry. So Jesus saying right off the bat, don't talk to the Gentiles and don't talk to the Samaritans, but go rather to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. So Jesus is clearly concerned here in chapter 10 that the houses of Israel are the ones they're talking to and not the Gentiles or the Samaritans. And proclaim as you go, saying, the kingdom of heaven is at hand. Heal the sick, raise the dead, cleanse lepers, cast out demons. So he's telling disciples they can do all the same things Jesus is doing. They have these same powers, if you will, for lack of a better term. Acquire no gold or silver or copper for your belts, and no bag for your journey, or 2 tunics, or sandals, or staff, for the laborer deserves his food. And whatever town or village you enter, find out who is worthy in it, and stay there until you depart. It's usually good to stay somewhere until you leave. As you enter the house, greet it, and if the house is worthy, let your peace come upon it. But if it is not worthy, let your peace return to you. And if anyone will not receive you or listen to your words, shake off the dust from your feet when you leave that house or town. Truly, I say to you, it will be more bearable on the day of judgment for the land of Sodom and Gomorrah than for that town. So here, uh, Jesus saying, stay till you leave, only talk to the Israelites, and if they're worthy, you're basically saving them. And then he finishes by saying, the end that is coming is going to be worse than Sodom and Gomorrah, even worse than that. I don't know how it gets much worse, but apparently it does. Anyway, persecution will come. Behold, I am sending you out as sheep in the midst of wolves. So be wise as serpents and innocent as doves. Beware of men, for they will deliver you over to courts and flog you in their synagogues. And you will be dragged before governors and kings for my sake, to bear witness before them and the Gentiles. When they deliver you over, do not be anxious how you are to speak, or what you are to say, for what you are to say will be given to you in that hour. For it is not you who speak, but the Spirit of your Father speaking through you. Brother will deliver brother over death, and his father child, and children will rise against their parents and have them put to death. You will be hated by all my name's sake. Uh, but the one who endures to the end will be saved. When they persecute you in one town, flee to the next. For truly I say to you, you will not have finished going through the towns of Israel before the Son of Man comes. Clearly, again, Jesus is clearly saying that I need you to go talk to the Israelites in Israel, but before you even get done, the end is coming. It's taking place. In Revelation, it says over and over, the end is coming soon. The soon is not 2,000 years by anybody's standards. Call me crazy, but I'm just going to make that claim right now. So I don't see a whole lot of point in reading much further. This is 3 instances. Matthew 10, he tells them they will not have finished traveling through Israel before the end. He tells them in Matthew 16 that there are some standing there that won't be dead before they see the end. And he says in 24, this generation will not pass away until all these things come to place. Now, to sum up, I'm going to go out on a limb here and say that is quite clear that Jesus said the end was coming, and the end did not come. Because here we are today, chilling by Bones Ice and Koi Fish. And clearly not the end. Personally, I think humanity's probably in a golden age right now by all standards. I mean, we have more knowledge than ever. We know more about the universe than ever. We have more. If you're like me and you love studying this stuff, even though I'm an atheist, uh, this is a huge part of history. And I think it's important because I think knowing true things are important, and knowing true things can only benefit people. And beliefs inform people's decisions. So if I can show you that your belief is demonstrably wrong, crazy, not the best, I think we should readjust our thinking. So I would encourage all of you to read what I just read for yourselves, and just read the words, read what it's telling you. I mean, I think we clearly established that Jesus was speaking about the end when he talked about the coming of the Son of Man. The temple destruction was part of that. But anyway, stay tuned for more of these videos in the future. I mean, we got a whole Bible to cover. There's whole videos you can make just going in between some of the details of what I already read. And this, my friends, is just the tip of the iceberg. There is a whole lot that don't add up in there, and a whole lot I could probably spend the rest of my life making videos about. So anyway, if you like this, if you don't agree, please debate me in the comments. Throw me a comment on why I'm wrong. Tell me why this don't mean what it says. Clearly, in my opinion. Please like the video, subscribe, hit me with some comments. Let's talk about it. Tell me why I'm wrong. Convert me back. If you show me my mistake here, save me, save me, save me. Later, guys.